Hey everyone, and welcome to the On The Go Show, a variety show where two friends talk pop culture and current events.
If you'd like to join the conversation, you can email us at onthegopod2023@gmail.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at On The Go with Jacob and James.
Without further ado, let's start the show. All right, James, it's another day and another episode. How are you today?
Doing all right.
Yeah, doing all right?
Yep.
You ready for some Thanksgiving food next week?
No, not really. I'm not really into Thanksgiving food that much. I mean, the sides, but I'm not really into turkey like that. It'll still be fun, watch the parade and all the festivities and, get ready for Christmas and stuff like that. So that should be fun.
Yeah. Do you feel like Christmas and Thanksgiving food are just pretty much the same meals?
Yeah, because, you can decide on what you want to eat for Christmas. Thanksgiving is universal that you have to eat turkey or either duck or ham or something like that. For Christmas, you can eat ham or you can do whatever you want. And more restaurants are open on Christmas than it is on Thanksgiving.
Really?
Yeah.
I never thought about that.
Yeah.
I truly never thought about that. Huh. Interesting. Why is that, I wonder?
I mean, because like I say, Thanksgiving is traditionally is also known, everyone's cooking. So it's universally known, unless you're a Chinese restaurant that doesn't celebrate Thanksgiving, you're universally known to just make food at the house. So that's why restaurants don't really open. And if they do open, they only serve Thanksgiving food. On Christmas time, you can eat whatever you want.
Yeah, that's
you can eat steak, you can eat, and honestly, you can do that for Thanksgiving too. But universally, like I said, everyone eats Thanksgiving food. Yeah. So a lot of restaurants only serve Thanksgiving food, except for Chinese restaurants.
Actually, that kind of reminds me of a story from Khadijah. She a few years back, like her and a friend, like I don't know, they just didn't want to go home for Thanksgiving, like when they were at college.
Mm-hmm.
So they took a road trip, and I think they went to Vegas or something for Thanksgiving, and they ended up eating Panda Express.
Nice.
That was a Thanksgiving for them one year. It's just random road trip and then Panda Express.
Yeah, I know my manager at my job, he usually buys Thanksgiving food, and he usually gets Luby's Thanksgiving food, which is fine. Luby's Thanksgiving food is fine, but it's very it's for people that's on diabetic. It's for people that have diabetics.
Really?
High blood pressure, so it's not very well seasoned. So that food is not really that good. But I appreciate them buying it, of course. I
didn't realize that Luby's was a diabetic place.
Well, it's not a diabetic place, but they don't put as much salt and seasoning in their food because they have a lot of elderly and a lot of old people that, people in their 60s and 70s that go to that restaurant.
They know,
so they don't really.
They know their customers then.
Yeah, they know that. They know the customers, so they don't really, do that type of stuff.
That's funny. It's interesting. Mm-hmm. But what else has been going on? Anything new this week? Any random adventures?
Nah, man.
No.
Nah.
Yeah,
nothing crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of the same over here. I'm still looking for jobs and still applying to a lot of places. I had some interviews. I also had some rejections. It's a roller coaster. It's ups and downs. I got some days it's good news, and some days it's bad news, and just constantly emailing places, filling out applications, and
I mean, it takes a while to get a job. It really does.
That is true.
Like I said last week, once you get a job, it's, you kind of want to hang on to it for as much as you can because it's hard to go, unless you can just find one immediately.
Well, that's funny because a lot of people, especially nowadays, the ones that are a little bit younger than us, job hopping is a big trend where it's just you work a job for a little bit and then you're always looking for the next thing. Because I've known a few people to just be like, yeah, I'm working here. And then 3 months later, they're like, I just got hired over here. And 3 months later, I just got hired over here. And it's just what? Yeah.
It happens a lot. It happens more than what you think. So, I mean, like I say, it's hard. Once you get that job, you kind of want to hang on to it for as much as you can.
Yeah. That's why I don't get that's why I don't get how some people just stay so, I guess, fluid with their job. Yeah. I don't know. Just how do you job hunt and jump that often. That just seems exhausting.
Well, the key is to find a job that can fall in line with the money that you're trying to get. You know, if you're trying to make if you're making below 13, then it's like, okay, you kind of want to find the right job. If you're trying to get $20 an hour, then yeah, it's hard. You know, it's hard to find those type of jobs. $20 an hour jobs is hard to find. You know, 80-hour jobs are easy to find. A dime a dozen, like McDonald's and, you know, Foot Locker and shoe places. Those are easy to find, you know.
Yeah, fair enough. But I mean, other than job searching, we've also been trying to like try out the local food places lately. Like on the weekends, we'll try to like go to a local place or something, and it's been kind of hit and miss. I don't know. We got tacos like last Saturday weekend, and for whatever reason, I don't know. Khadija just has bad luck with food. Every time we order out, they always mess up her order, and my order is always fine. Or I don't know. Sometimes if they mess up my order, I'm just not really like that upset by it. But anyway, so we had ordered tacos from this taco place, and we're eating it, and we're watching this movie on Netflix called Predestination. I don't know if you ever saw that one.
No, I never saw it.
It's really good. It's Kevin Bacon. It's a time travel movie, but it's really good. Highly recommend. Very interesting. A lot of dialogue, not a lot of action. But anyway, so we're watching this movie, and we're eating the tacos and stuff, and Khadija's like, my tongue feels numb. And I go, okay.
No, she's allergic.
Yeah, and she kind of freaks out for a little bit, but then she calms herself down. And she has a shellfish allergy.
Oof.
So we think that there might have been like some cross-contamination, because we didn't get anything with like shrimp at all. We just got like tacos, like beef tacos, chicken tacos, and like nachos or something, right?
Yeah.
So we think there might have been like some cross-contamination with it. And it's funny because like her allergy is not extreme. It's just she swells up a little bit when she eats shrimp.
I mean, it could have been. I mean, when you're dealing with shellfish and you're dealing with stuff like that, you know, it's a plethora of stuff can happen if you're not really responsible in the back when you're cooking.
No, yeah, you have a very valid point there. And, you know, luckily her allergy isn't as extreme, and she will eat shellfish from time to time. But it's a difference between knowing you're eating something that you're slightly allergic to versus knowing you're eating something that doesn't contain things you're allergic to, and then still having that same reaction.
Yeah.
You know, so it's I get her feelings on it, but I don't know, we've been kind of hit and miss with the local cuisine around here.
Yeah, everyone says it's the best. San Antonio has the best cuisine, so you know, maybe you just got to venture out a little bit more.
I've only heard San Antonio has great Mexican food, and I feel like that's slightly racist. Just because.
I mean, it is, and then it's not, because, you know, it's understandable because of the location of where you guys are. So it's not. It is a little racist, but also, I mean, you know, you kind of understand. Just a little bigoted. That's all. Maybe not racist, but just slightly bigoted, slightly discriminatory. I don't know, but without a doubt. But other than that, we've also been watching Leverage Redemption. I don't know. Have you ever seen Leverage? No, I never heard of it.
All right, so Leverage was a TV series, probably like mid to late 2000s. And it was about a group of like thieves, but they were doing this like Robin Hood kind of thing, right? They would steal from crooked CEOs and corporate bad guys and give the stealings back to like the little man that they're screwing over. Like there would be like pharmaceutical companies that are raising the price of medicine so people can't afford it, and then, you know, someone's kid's sick or whatever, so they go to these leverage people and they put together a heist to steal money from the big pharma people and screw them over, or get them arrested if they're doing really illegal things. And then whatever money they take, they'll either give it to the people who need it, or they'll give it, you know, to a lot of people or charity or whatever. And I'm sure they take their cut, right? Because they gotta finance themselves somehow. But it's like a Robin Hood type of show.
Huh. Yeah, I never heard of that.
It's good. It's a pretty decent show. If you like heist stuff, it's good. Well, it ended, and then they made a sequel series called Leverage Redemption, and it's been on Amazon. I think it only had 2 seasons. I think it's canceled by now, but we've been watching it on Amazon. And that's not the point of the story, James. The point of the story is we have Amazon with ads.
Yeah, I've witnessed that too as well lately. Yeah,
which is really dumb because like I'm paying for Amazon already. Why are you giving me ads? Which
yeah.
Anyway, so we've been seeing ads, and they've been showing us these Geico ads, and they're bringing back the caveman. I don't know if you've seen those.
Yeah, I've seen it.
But it's funny because Khadijah hates these commercials because they're like, why are they bringing this man back? Because like they just bring him back to be this salty dude.
Well, I mean, I guess it's a good gimmick, and it gets people, gets eyes on it. So, it's more. How can I say this? It's just more adaptable, I guess. But it's people just love, stuff they can see, stuff that catches the eye, and the caveman catches the eye for years.
That is true. He was a big like big mascot for a while before they fully transitioned to, I think, the Geico. Not the Geico, but the Gecko. The Gecko has been the main mascot forever, and then the caveman was pretty big for a while. But then I think he got fired. There's a whole storyline of him in these commercials. I think at one point he sues Geico.
Oof, yeah, I know. No, I'm not that drenched in Geico commercials to know all that, so I'm not even gonna try to pretend like I not know that.
I just know what I remember. I could be remembering it differently, but so they bring him back, and he's not even like a Geico employee anymore, right? He's just like this grumpy like house husband dude who like every time they go like they go and hang out with friends, the friends mention Geico, and then he gets all upset. And I was like, why are they bringing this guy back? And I kind of think, this is my weird theory here, I think it's to combat the Progressive commercials, because I don't know if you've noticed the Progressive commercials, but they pick on Jamie a lot in those commercials.
They do.
Right? It started with Flo, and then it was Jamie, and now like she's got a whole team behind her. And there's one commercial where they're all talking about who's the boss or whatever, and they're all like, well, obviously Flo's the boss. And Jamie's like, why can't I be the boss? And they all laugh at Jamie, and Jamie laughs because he's like, I could never be the boss. I don't like that commercial, James. That it just upsets me.
I see. That's gotten your goat, I see.
It does. It's like, why are you so mean to Jamie? It's Flo needs to manage her team better, in my opinion.
Okay. Well, we gonna file that one in the cabinet.
Yeah, we need to call the Progressive HR team and tell them to stop picking on Jamie. But my point is, I kind of feel like, because obviously Progressive commercials are very popular. That's why they've been able to expand on it. Like there's whole storylines, and they do different things. And it kind of makes me wonder if Geico brought back the caveman to just be like, hey, we have a character we pick on too now. Just like somewhere in the back end, somewhere in a boardroom, someone came up with this idea. And that's why we're getting caveman commercials.
Yeah, that could be it. Or like I said, it just could be just the simple fact they probably just want to bring back the notoriety of Geico, with the commercials and stuff.
That is true. I mean, the caveman was popular too. It's not like he wasn't.
He was really popular.
But it's just like some weird like crackpot idea I had the other night while we were watching these commercials, because like Amazon only shows you the same like 3 or 4 commercials, so we're constantly seeing this stupid caveman come through.
Oh yeah.
Khadijah made a comment about it, and I was like, oh, whatever, it's a dumb commercial. And then I started thinking about it some more. I'm like, because compared to the Progressive commercials, it's like, maybe they did need a guy to pick on for whatever reason. And the problem is, it works. As advertising, it works, because again, there's like, why are they being mean to this caveman? And then like you talk about it with friends, and then you're talking about Geico. So Geico advertised to you, but now you're advertising to everybody else about Geico because you're talking about it because of the caveman. So
sounds like we need to get you another hobby, man. Sounds like we gotta get you a hobby, dude. Like I'm just keeping it real.
I need a job, is what I need.
Yeah, we gotta get you some stuff to do, bro. just keep it real, man.
That's all I got. That's all I have to do is just
think about we definitely going to have to find something for you to do. We gotta find something.
Don't worry, I don't have a pin board of caveman pictures and Progressive pictures on my wall with yarn tracing back to through the years.
Yeah, I hope not.
I definitely don't have that going on right now.
I love Jacob James Podcast. You know Jacob James Podcast don't go anywhere down the place. You know Jacob James Podcast don't go home, just in the car, in the prison, you wouldn't go in there, grandma out, mistress's house. You know Jacob James Podcast anywhere, man. It's the best dang podcast you ever gonna listen to. I don't care what no one says. It's a good podcast. Go ask Rose. Yeah.
Were you able to see the Mike Tyson, Logan Paul or Jake Paul fight?
I saw like the prelims, and I fell asleep on the rest of it.
Oh yeah, did you watch it live or did you try to watch it afterwards? Because I know like the live streaming had a lot of issues.
No, I watched it live, but we didn't have any issues. No, we didn't have any issues.
Interesting, because I heard that there was like a lot of buffering and a lot of like, someone would throw a punch and then it would freeze up, and then everyone would have to wait like 45 minutes for it to come back.
Yeah, I mean that's just because a lot of people are probably on the stream.
Well, I was curious about it just because I don't know, Jake Paul and Logan Paul are annoying people. And it would have been nice to see Mike Tyson really beat him up. But from what I understand, it was pretty lackluster. A lot of people are really disappointed with Mike Tyson's performance.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I don't know how you can be disappointed in someone that's 60-some years old or 50-some years old. How old the hell he is? He's old. So, and punch drunk. So I don't really understand how you could be disappointed. The man, he needed the money. He took the fight. It is what it is. It's just the way it is. That's the sport of boxing. Sport of boxing has went down tremendously for a long time now.
Right.
So it's just like,
well, especially with these exhibition
Jake Paul
matches.
is actually putting the spotlight on boxing. Yeah.
With these exhibition matches, it's kind of like you're not getting an authentic boxing match. I think a lot of people said the first fight was better than the Paul and Tyson fight. Like the women fighters, the women fighters.
Yeah, the women fight was great.
So a lot of people are thinking like, okay, the Tyson thing was rigged or whatever. Or like there's talks of like somewhere in the contract it stated that Tyson couldn't knock him out before like the 4th or 5th round or something. A lot of different information floating around. So I don't know exactly what's true and what's not true.
Yeah, I mean it probably is true.
Yeah, it probably is. I mean, but I do think you have a point. The age difference is a big factor. Tyson's almost 60 years old. Not only that, he is very vocal about just getting high off of toad venom from time to time and doing weird stuff like that these days. So I'm sure like...
Oh, the man almost died a couple months ago. Did
he really? I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, the man almost died. This fight was supposed to happen a couple months ago in the summertime. And he got hurt and he lost a lot of blood and everything.
Oh, damn. So yeah, I mean, he's probably still recovering from that.
Yeah, most likely.
I know some people were pointing out that like he didn't seem like he was fully prepared when he was coming out for the fight, or he didn't seem like he was at 100% already. I think he like slightly tripped on his way out, and like you could just tell, that he's not.
Yeah,
he wasn't all there. But the more I think about it, though, the more I kind of think about that scene from the original Space Jam, where the little monsters are hatching up their plan to kidnap the basketball players, and they were like, "Oh, we'll keep them chained up, and we'll play them in exhibition matches, and we'll always win."
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I remember that scene.
Yeah, that's kind of what it made me think of. Jake Paul just paid this man a large sum of money to, fight and then lose or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's apparently he needs the money. So, it's a lot of stuff happening in his life that a lot of life changing events that happen in his life. So, I have no problem with it, man. I have no problem with it.
All right.
You got to know what you're paying for when you get a fight. When you get a fight such as that, it's on Netflix. It wasn't like it was on pay-per-view. It wasn't like
That was my other gripe with the Netflix thing, because Netflix is trying to do this like we do live TV now, and I do not support it.
Well, they're gonna be doing it for a long time because we're getting WWE Raw. WWE is coming to Netflix.
Yeah.
They have the Screen Actors Guild Award that comes on there as well. They're getting basketball and football games. Well, not basketball, but they are getting football games on Netflix. So they're dipping all into it now. Oh
yeah, and I mean, it depends. They got to fix their streaming issues, because now if you're gonna have a bunch of people watching your stuff and your streams are going down constantly, that was kind of detrimental for them. I feel like that kind of hurt them a little bit, but not enough for people to really go anywhere.
No, I mean, that's what happened to WWE. When WWE first launched WWE Network, they had issues left and right. They had networking issues because of the simple fact that a lot of people were on that network. Yeah,
that's true. That's fair. They just have to work with it. I mean, Hulu's been doing live stuff for a while, haven't they?
Yep, Hulu does live sports. Everyone's doing live sports now. Amazon's going to start doing basketball. They already do football. So
we're just going back to TV. We're just going back to TV is essentially what's happening here. The only difference is we're paying for the ads regardless. And that reminds me of my original point from earlier when we were talking about the Geico and Progressive commercials, is the fact that, I'm okay with advertising. I understand advertising needs to happen in order for things to be free, right? That's radio, right? Radio is free because there's a bunch of ads on it.
Yep.
You do Pandora or you use Spotify, you do the free option, you get a bunch of ads. YouTube, free, has ads. And now we're getting into a point where even YouTube Premium, if you get the lower tier of YouTube Premium, you get ads. Now we're Amazon. I pay $20 a month for Amazon. I got ads. Hulu, you pay $10 a month on Hulu, you get ads. And it kind of made me think, like, we shouldn't be getting ads if we're just paying for the thing to begin with. Like, if Hulu's going to have ads, they should just make it free. Tubi. Yeah. Tubi's free. And you watch 6 ads like every 10 minutes, but it's free, That's the price you pay.
It's just a capitalist society, man. It's a capitalist society.
I know.
Everything's got to make money. Everything's got to flow. That's just the way it is.
I understand that. I get that. But with advertising, if you pay for a thing, you shouldn't have to be subjected to ads. Like, look at phone games. Phone games have ads out the wazoo until you pay for it, which makes sense because that game is free. But you got to look at ads for a bunch of other BS games, right?
Oh yeah,
yeah. But when you give $5 to Candy Crush or whatever, and the ads go away, you're good. That's how it should be. But I mean, I'm not knocking advertising. I get advertising, and I understand why it's lucrative and why it's necessary. But it's just something I thought about. I think the other day with Amazon, with us noticing the ads coming up, where it's like, we pay for this. Why are we getting advertising?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's just one of those situations where it's just like, you're gonna get even more ads, and pretty soon TV is gonna be demolished, and you're just gonna have the news on, like, you already got the news on Hulu anyway, so it's gonna be more like that.
There was a movie a while back called Branded. I don't know if you ever saw it. It's like I think it's kind of like a pseudo indie film, or it's kind of like a foreign film, I believe, but it was called Branded, and the whole premise was, like, all the advertising in the world was actually like aliens or something. It had something to do with like advertising, and then aliens were involved for the plot. But it was kind of like that. It was set in a time where just advertising was everywhere, right? Billboards, like virtual ads, and all that kind of stuff. Kind of to the effect that we're seeing now. Like you just said, it's not going to go away. We're a capitalist society, so of course, every day you're going to be subjected to someone trying to sell you something.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
I mean, even influencers are nothing but glorified advertisers. That's all they are.
They have to. I mean, they have to. Like, once you make it big, which I pray one day I do, you have to advertise certain things, and hopefully you use the certain things that they're advertised that you want you to advertise.
Right.
And sometimes you have to do it like right in the middle of the show, and it kind of breaks up the whole vibe of the show.
Right. Yeah, depending on the stipulations or whatever. Or like if you do a live show, a lot of the advertising is just like what's on their desk or whatever. That's why everyone's got like such a crazy looking studio setup, is because some of those things were sponsored by people, so they have to like show this off.
Yep.
They don't just wake up one day and be like, I'm gonna have a dozen whatevers in my office. It's like, no, it's a set, and they have to show these things off because that's who's giving them money.
That's very much true.
It's a very slow selling process where eventually you watch like 10 of the episodes, you're going to be like, where's he getting that stuffed animal from? And then you look it up, and then boom, they got your money.
Yep, that's very much true.
It's a slow burn, sir. It's a slow and steady race. But anyway, that's not what I wanted to talk about. It's just kind of like what we deviated into this. But
yeah, I mean, it happens. It happens.
Yeah, so getting away from the Tyson Paul fight discussion, which is barely a discussion, because I didn't watch it. I kind of wanted to watch it, but I didn't want to give Netflix the satisfaction,
Gotcha.
So I don't know if you've been paying attention, or have you ever seen Full House?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
All right. So the comedian in Full House, Dave Coulier.
Yeah, he has cancer.
Yes, he unfortunately he has cancer. And did you know that the song "You Oughta Know" by Alanis Morissette was written about Dave Coulier?
I didn't know that.
It was,
didn't know that
because they had dated back in the 90s, and I think he cheated on her, and she wrote a song.
Oh wow, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Well, in fact, I think that whole album's kind of like a angry breakup album.
About him?
I believe so. I'm fact checking myself.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, here's an article from People.com. Dave Coulier reveals first thoughts after hearing Alanis Morissette's "You Ought to Know." I started listening to it and I thought, "Ooh, I think I may have really hurt this woman."
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So
did they ever talk again, or did they just?
Let me see. I'm reading.
I would imagine that she probably reached out to him, when he found out he had a cancer diagnosis and stuff. So
it says Coulier and Morissette dated in 1992 and reconnected years later. Coulier has said that Morissette was lovely and sweet.
Yeah, that's good.
That's about all.
That's good.
Yeah. Coulier realized how deeply he hurt Morissette. Coulier said that he didn't realize how deeply he hurt her until he listened to the entire 1995 album Jagged Little Pill. He said that he heard the song on the radio and recognized the singer's voice, but didn't realize it was about him until he listened to the whole album. So yeah, that album is mostly about him.
Oh man, damn, that's crazy.
Yeah,
he must really hurt her.
Yeah, man. I mean, you hurt.
Jesus.
That's the thing about female pop singers. They don't hurt their feelings.
Yeah, Taylor Swift.
Good album. Olivia Rodrigo too. I think her breakout album was a breakup album. Or more recently, Sabrina Carpenter. She's got a song dedicated to her ex or something, I think.
Yeah.
Or at least like a dude that was kind of like two-timing her or something. I don't know. I don't follow.
Yeah, I
don't follow pop news. I just get told pop news.
I think I heard the song before. Yeah, I think I heard it. It's pretty good.
Yeah. So anyway, back to Dave Coulier. He has cancer, and recently, in support of his cancer battle, John Stamos, also a Full House star, came to his house with a bald cap and like helped him shave his head. And they just had a good time. They were laughing about it, and they were like taking pictures and stuff. So being cool. A good friend, because they've obviously they've had years of friendship since Full House, and I mean the late I can't remember.
Bob Saget.
Thank you.
Bob Saget.
I was going to say Bob Styles, but...
No. Yeah, Bob Saget passing away. Yeah, everyone's kind of like a little bit drawn in, a little bit closer now.
Yeah, a little bit. Well, besides the Olsen twins, but I think they have legitimate reasons, possibly. But anyway, so he came over, bald cap, shaved his head and everything, but people are upset with John Stamos for not fully shaving his head. They're like, oh, you could do this, but you had to wear a bald cap and stuff. So it made Dave Coulier have to come out and like make a statement, because you can't do anything these days without making a stupid statement,
God, boy, people are just so stupid sometimes.
Right. So he came out on his Instagram and was like, I'm sorry to see a bunch of negative comments as I've just begun my cancer journey. It's our friendship, and this is how we are handling a very tough time. I'm a comedian, and humor is what drives me. John knows how to cheer me up, and I laughed out loud when he arrived wearing a bald cap, being a true loving friend and brother. I've heard from so many people who have been inspired enough by my words and actions to say that they are going to check in with their doctors and get mammograms, a colonoscopy, or a prostate exam. I'm still going to laugh in the face of adversity. When I lost my sister Sharon, my mother Arlene, and my niece Shannon the cancer, we tried to stay positive, and we made each other laugh through the worst of it. So I'm choosing to spread the word about early cancer detection to help people. That's just who I am. I wish nothing but love for all of you. So
that's awesome, man.
Right.
Like I said, I'm sorry to hear that he has cancer. It's a sucky situation. I've definitely lost people to cancer, so I definitely know what that's like. So it sucks that you have to explain stuff like that to people, but humans are humans, and humans gonna be humans.
That's true. That unfortunately, they're just gonna overreact, and I mean, we live in reactionary times. It's hard.
It's hard not
to.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to catch yourself. Sometimes you catch yourself reacting to something, and then 5 minutes later, you're just kind of like, what? It's not that big a deal.
Yeah, it's really not. Nothing's ever really that big of a deal.
Right. So, moving on to something that's a little bit of a big deal, James, is remember the movie Rust with Alec Baldwin, and he ended up accidentally shooting somebody?
Yep.
Well, instead of canceling the movie, obviously they're still moving forward with it, right? They're still going to put it out there. And I assume it's coming out relatively soon, because I saw this article the other day that Helena Hutchins, who's the victim in the shooting, unfortunately, her mother plans to skip the Rust premiere and says Alec Baldwin seeks to unjustly profit from shooting. And she says, there is no justice for my daughter. So the mother of the cinematographer is very upset with Alec Baldwin and the fact that he's still trying to put this movie out. And apparently he hasn't actually formally apologized.
Yeah, I mean, I think the whole thing is just kind of, it's murky. It's just very, very murky. And I wish the film wasn't coming out, but I understand too, there are also people that did the movie that, they worked on the movie too as well.
Right. You do have other people who did put time and effort in the movie. And I mean, at the very least, they deserve to get paid.
Exactly. So, I mean,
I don't really know how it works with movies. I don't know if you get paid after the movie premieres and the money comes in, or if you get paid before. I imagine you get paid before. It wouldn't make sense to be like, well, the movie only made this much, because you have contracts and union gigs, union especially. Like Hollywood's all union, right? So,
I mean, like I said, the mother or whatever, she's entitled to feel how she wanted to feel,
exactly
how she wants to feel. I can't tell her how to feel.
I don't think she's wrong in feeling that way either. Honestly,
I mean, no, she's not wrong. I mean, like I say, she's entitled to feel that way. I kind of think that it is what it is. He didn't mean to do it. It was total accident how it all went down. It was total tragedy how it all went down.
Right.
So it's just one of those situations where it's just there's no winner. There is no winner in this.
There's really not.
That's just the whole thing in a nutshell.
Yeah. There's only losers in this, and I think the armorer has got a year. I think she's sentenced to a year in prison or something because of it for the negligence. Yeah. But I don't know if Alec Baldwin's gotten anything yet besides maybe a fine.
No, he's not getting anything for it because he didn't. Like I said, it was an accident. It was not his fault that the gun was that the damn bullet was in there to begin with. So it's just an icky situation. It's a messy situation. There's no winners. There's no gotcha. There's no, hey, you can't feel this way. She's entitled to feel that way, and she's, she should feel that way. So
she should. She's very much in her right. And I mean, at the very least, he should apologize at least. Be like, hey, look, I'm.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin's been a dick. He's been a dick for years.
That is true.
That's why a lot of people don't. That's why people don't have a lot of sympathy for him because he hasn't really given the much nutrition of being the most kindest person in the world. So when you're a douchebag, people tend to come down on you a little bit different than they should.
I know I always hear about his wife because his wife apparently pretended to be Spanish for so long.
Yeah.
But she's not. She's some white lady from Boston or something, but she pretended to be from Spain.
Oh yeah. I never heard his wife talk before.
Well, she always used to talk in this fake Spanish accent and stuff like that. And then I think they caught her using her real accent, or she slipped up on some live morning TV show. So
nice.
Yeah, just kind of awkwardness all around. But
oh yeah,
I mean that's all. That's it's kind of all the little movie pop culture-y stuff I had for you today. Just something a little different. I know you said you were tired of talking about superhero stuff, so tried to find some different topics for you.
We got to dig up some more topics that's a little bit more less somber than this. That's for damn sure.
Well,
they're going to find some topics a little more somber than this.
I mean, try to find something to talk about. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah. Oh boy. All right.
On the go. We're getting arrested with Jacob and James.
It's been a while since we've done the trailer park. It's been a while since we've been there. It's hard to go to the trailer park when you're from two different places,
Yeah, it is very, very, very difficult.
Got to find a trailer park in the middle to meet up at. But I was perusing the trailers, James, and I saw a couple of them that I was kind of interested in. Thought I might bring them up to you. The first one is, where is my sheet? The first one is, or the biggest one from this week was the How to Train Your Dragon live action remake. I don't know if you got to see it or watch it.
Yeah, I saw it.
I think it looks pretty good, to be completely honest. I know these live action remakes are getting kind of dumb now, and DreamWorks is cashing in a little too late. Kind of like a Marvel DC situation where the one studio has been doing it for years, and then here comes DC trying to quickly do theirs. But
yeah, everyone wants to do it now.
But I will say, I think shot for shot, it looks like they tried to recreate it pretty well, which is interesting. You know, they're not trying to deviate too much or change too much.
Well,
I know that like some of the acting choices, there's some changes there.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the thing about it. Like when you do these films, and that's kind of been the problem with Disney. You do these live action films. What are you doing differently that you didn't see in the animated version?
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to deviate too much, but you also want to put your own little spin on it where you're like, oh, you know, we missed this in the animation, so we'll put it in the live action.
Right.
We'll do this a little different than what we did in that. So, you know, I'm not really a big fan of live action films like this.
Right.
But it does, but it does look good.
Yeah, I think as a trailer for an upcoming movie, it looks really good. you know, I mean, some first trailers, like you can always tell, like, oh, the CGI still needs some work or whatever. But like, Toothless looks really good in this trailer.
No, yeah, it looks really good. It looks very, you know, true to the first shot. I mean, that's how Stitch looks from what I seen with the new Stitch picture from Disney, Lilo and Stitch. So that looked pretty accurate too as well. So I mean, like I said, we'll see once we get more information on it. And
it's funny because they got Gerard Butler back to play the dad because he voices the dad in the original like movies, the animated movies. So it's kind of funny they got him to like play the live action dad in this one. It seems like they're going for like a 1-to-1 kind of version.
I mean, like I say, if they do something a little different with it, and maybe it's something they missed in the animated, it has to be the reason why they're doing this. There has to be a reason why they're doing this. Like, hey, we may probably missed something in the animated. We can put it in the live action, kind of change the story up just a tad bit, fix a couple things here and there.
It could be an entirely different story for all we know. Like
could be.
The first 30 minutes, they might show like them meeting and then they do like a time skip or something. You know what I mean? Like they could potentially do that. I don't know if they really will. I don't know that, you know, Hollywood never does what we think they're going to do.
True. I mean, I hope they're not doing a beat for beat film, but
true.
You know,
it'd be interesting. I think this is their first like live action remake.
It's their first live action. So. Yep. DreamWorks' first live action film.
It's interesting they went with How to Train Your Dragon and not Shrek because I know like Shrek has so many sequels, but I think How to Train Your Dragon is probably like the more lucrative one for them because they've had the 3 sequels. They've also had like multiple television series.
Yeah, that's true.
The story is like more action adventure because like dragons and stuff. And I mean, Shrek's a good movie. It's a classic, but it's not. I don't know if you could really capture the same feeling in live action as opposed to How to Train Your Dragon. At least with How to Train Your Dragon, you still have like dragons. You know?
Yeah.
I mean,
you got a point.
Shrek has a dragon too, but then doesn't show up until the second one. So what are you going to do? You're going to skip the first one? No.
Yeah, you got a point.
But moving on from How to Train Your Dragon, another trailer came out that was kind of interesting to me. And we were having a minor discussion about it earlier, was the Dear Santa movie with Jack Black.
Yeah.
Where a kid accidentally writes Satan. So Satan comes up and hangs out with his kid in this trailer, in this movie.
Yeah. Did they say who the director of this is?
I can find it for you. Give me a second here.
Okay. Well, as you're digging that up, like I said, I saw the trailer. The trailer looks nice. No, I'm not going to say nice. Nice is way too much of a compliment. I guess, I mean, you know, Jack Black is starting to do these little different movies. These different family movies. And he's doing more and more of these type of movies. He's got Minecraft coming out. And then he got he just got through doing Borderlands. So, I really hope these movies kind of work out for him a little bit. I really like Jack Black.
Yeah.
I really, really do. Yeah, I don't think he's crazy funny, but when given the right script, like in Jumanji, he can turn it on. He can turn it on like that.
Or King Kong.
So, yeah, or King Kong, you know, or School of Rock. You know, he can turn his acting skill on. You know, the trailer didn't really win me over. It's just something that's probably something just for the holidays.
Here's something that kind of it made me think of, and this is like a deep cut, like pool. Remember Disney Channel original movies from back in the day?
Yeah.
Remember HE double hockey sticks?
I think I do. Yeah.
It was like a hockey player. I don't remember the full plot, but it ended up being like the devil was hanging out with a hockey player, or a demon was hanging out with this hockey player.
I think I remember that. Yeah, I think it came on like ABC.
Yeah,
and stuff like that. Oh, Sunday morning. I mean, not Sunday morning, but Sunday night on Wonderful World of Disney. So I think that's when I saw it. But yeah, it kind of does have that type of theme to it.
Yeah, because it says Griffelkin is an apprentice devil who was studied for an eternity at the Beelzebub Vocational Institute. Beelzebub wants to get rid of her idol student, so she sets him a task. If he can obtain the soul of a hotshot hockey player, he can graduate. So that's the story. That's the story of HE double hockey sticks. I mean, obviously, it's not the same story from the Dear Santa movie, but like the vibe is there. The vibe of like, I don't know, like a devil character hanging out with this guy, just doing shenanigans.
Yeah, like I say, it looks interesting to somebody. You can watch it when you cooking, or when you put no Christmas decorations, or if you don't feel like watching some of the old school Christmas movies that you grown up with, you can watch some a little new. It's just it just depends on what your preference is.
Yeah, it's a streaming movie, right? You put it on.
Essentially it's a streaming movie. It's essentially what is a movie that should have been streaming to begin with, and I'm glad they kept it that way. Unlike the movie Red One,
right,
where they completely just decided because it's The Rock, we're just gonna put it in the movie theaters. They made absolutely no money.
Remember that post he made saying like, "Oh, this is going to be as big as Oppenheimer."
Well, I'm pretty sure he was joking when he said that.
He sent he went to an IMAX theater. It was like, "Oh, Red One's going to be as big as Oppenheimer on this screen," and blah blah blah. And then like he sent a shirtless pic of himself to the director of Red One.
Let me tell you something. There was nothing in that movie that was worth being in IMAX. There was nothing in that movie. The CGI was terrible as well. It's just, I hope when these actors, I don't know what really goes into these studios when they make these type of movies. Like, for what reason are you making this movie? That should always be number one.
Yeah.
I feel like that should always be on the board when you do these Christmas movies or whatever type of movies you're trying to do, whether it be Joker or Venom. For what reason are you doing these movies? Who is it supposed to appeal to?
Right.
And I feel like studios have gotten completely away from that. It's really, really getting to be really, really bothersome. You're wasting your time at these cinemas and you're paying these expensive prices, and you're getting pissed on by these movies, and it's unfortunate. It really, really is.
Yeah, I don't really know what the quality control is or why it's been the way it is. I mean, it's kind of been like this for years. I think we're just exposed to it a lot more now because like you have so many different streaming services, and I think companies and production houses are just trying to constantly put out films to keep up with the high demand, right? Because you're battling Netflix, or you're battling Hulu, or you're battling Amazon, and the theaters. You're still trying to put something out in theaters, but like, is it theater worthy, or is it just streaming? Like, where you have so many different avenues now, and I think they're just trying to like, it's kind of like you throw everything at the wall to see what sticks. Yeah,
no, and like I say, I understand. I understand these studios have a obligation to make blockbuster films, and they have to put these actors in these films that make a lot of money. And I know The Rock. I defended The Rock last week when he said that, hey, I'm going to stop doing these type of films. I'm going to choose the type of roles I want to do. And I really, really hope he sticks to that. And I really hope this is his last film of doing this because, and I know we're talking about this Jack Black film, but this kind of goes in the same vein of Jack Black because I see Jack Black kind of doing the same stuff now.
No, you're right. You have a good point.
Yeah. So I'm really, really hoping these guys can kind of venture away from doing these type of things and just kind of think about what you're doing this movie for and who is it supposed to appease to. And I know, Richard, he hated the Joker film. He hated that. Oh, yeah. He hated every last bit of it. And, he talked about how Joker kind of put people out of business in the movie business, in the movie theater business, the small person that works the concession and box office. And that's what these movies have been doing for like the past 2 or 3 months and a half now. That's
a good point because not many people think about that. I don't know. People don't think about how movie theaters are part of the movie industry. And they very much are, they're the bottom tier of it, right? But they're still the movie industry. So yeah, when a supposed $1 billion movie doesn't make the billions of dollars, it all trickles downwards past the movie studios, past the actors, past the bigger people, down on the little guys who were just trying to like work, pay their rent, and then here we go. I have a full scheduled, and unfortunately, this movie didn't make $1 billion, so now like half my hours are gone. Or the next week, you work 1 day a week or whatever, and you're like, how am I supposed to survive?
And it sounds like it's overreaction, and I know some people wouldn't be able to relate to that, but it's true. It really is true. When you do these type of movies, and you have these to have Red One be $250 million to make.
Right.
That's the budget for this film. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Right. Well, I mean, sometimes the budget numbers just make you wonder where the money went. Like Joker. Joker was over $200 billion, and you're like, where did that money go?
Where did it go?
Like, who did it go to? And again, sometimes it does fall on the actors because, like, again, Red One, you have The Rock and you have Chris Evans. Chris Evans, Marvel Cinematic Universe figurehead for 10 years, so he's got a hefty price on him, right? And then you have The Rock, or Dwayne The Rock Johnson, who's first of all wrestling superstar. And then he's been
he's going to command money.
Yeah, he's going to command money. He's got his own production studio. Was this his own production studio, by the way? $7?
$7. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So a little bit does fall on The Rock then, because this is your production studio, The Rock. Why'd you put this out?
I don't know, man.
So maybe
like I said,
he might have took a hit then making this.
Oh, I know he did. Because I think the weekend budget down to me like $30 million.
Jeez.
Off a $250 million movie. It probably made less than that.
All right. Well, the only other movie I had to talk about was The Studio. It's on Apple. Seth Rogen, he's playing a studio head, and I guess it's not going so well. It's not the job he dreamed of. He's having a bunch of complications or whatever. Mm-hmm. By the trailer, it looked like it was a pretty decently made movie. It looks very, I don't know. It looks like one of those movies that kind of make you feel. It's like a drama.
Oh, it's a lot of, I'm gonna let you finish. Go ahead on. You got it.
That was it. That was all I had.
I mean, talking about a streaming service that probably need to hang it up is Apple, because Apple Plus is very good at having these big time movie trailers, and Apple Plus is very good at having these big time movie trailers, and they got to be all this good quality, but the films end up being bad. They end up being, and they get these big time actors. They get these Brad Pitts, these George Clooney's, this movie here, The Studio. This is nothing but an advertisement for all the actors.
Why do you think Apple does that? Because you would think,
I don't know.
Like Apple,
I don't know.
Apple's got like a big brand recognition, right? Like, I mean, their computers, their phones, like you want to get into the film and media business and whatever, but like if you're not putting out quality products in media and film and whatnot. Like, they look good. They look of quality.
Oh yeah, they look really good.
You put a lot of time and energy and money into the look of it, which I guess that's kind of what Apple's good at, right? They're good at making things look nice. That's why people like iPhones. Yeah, like that. That's why people like the Macs. Even the Apple Store. You walk past an Apple Store and you're like, wow, it looks really nice in there, because it's very sleek and very bright. So that's what Apple's.
Well, they're the total opposite of Netflix. Well, Netflix quality is terrible, and their films are not that good. At least with Apple, their trailers look good, and they're able to get these big name actors and have these incredible budgets, and no one watches these films. Like, the only movie that really made money what's that movie that came out with Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro,
Yeah.
Killers of the Flower Moon. That was on. Funny that really made money off of Apple, but the rest of those movies don't make any money,
right? Because no one who's watching Apple Plus. I think we have a free subscription to Apple Plus and we don't use it. I mean, you even said your friend has Apple Plus, or he had Apple Plus, but he never used it, so he canceled it. So it's just like, who's really using this?
Yeah, like no one's really using it. No one's really watching these films. Like that Wolf movie, that was the last movie that came out. That was originally supposed to go to the movie theaters, and they end up sending it to Apple because they looked at metrics and was like, "Yo, we're not gonna make any money off this."
Damn.
And it wasn't a good movie. It wasn't even a little good movie.
Yeah, what's happening to quality, man?
So I don't really understand why Apple keeps making movies.
That's upsetting.
And they got for all the stuff they got on their channel, on their streaming service, it's really kind of boring.
Yeah, right.
Their shows are boring. Their shows are completely boring. The only show they had that was really watchable was Monarch.
I was gonna say, yeah, I heard Monarch was really good, and they're coming out with a season 2 for that. But you know what it is? Monarch has Godzilla. Godzilla is a popular IP. Like you're gonna make money off of that. But you know your original stuff. And first of all, your original stuff is always going to be harder anyway because it's original content. And as much as people like to say they want to see original content, they really don't like original content, right? It's like, yeah, we want to see original ideas, but then you don't show up and show out for it, right? Like you'll come out for the How to Train Your Dragon reboot, live action remake that we were just talking about, but you're not going to come out for the studio or the Wolves or the Killers of the Flower Moon or whatever. Like you're not going to show up for that. So it's like a double-edged sword in a way where it's like, oh, our audience wants original things, but then they're not coming for original things. So we're making remakes, but then they don't like remakes. And then it's just like this vicious cycle. And then also too, again, very fast-paced. It's a very fast-paced world we live in to where people just, if it's not making money and if it's not getting views right away, you're dumping it, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, and that's how these studios are. I know, like I said, I know this is not a very popular comment and popular stuff to say about Apple, so we probably won't never get we probably won't ever get Apple Podcasts by us talking smack by Apple. But
no free iPhones.
It's just true.
Yeah,
it's just true.
I mean, it's a criticism. That's all it is. It's not like we're not hating on Apple to hate on Apple. It's a criticism. It really it's a very accurate criticism. Yeah, it's criticism mostly from you because I never watched Apple things. So you know,
well, it's not worth buying. That's for sure.
Not yet. You know, maybe someday they'll up their quality or they'll get a better guy, but it'll take some time.
You know, the studio it looks fine.
Yeah,
it looks fine. Sure. You know, I just when I saw all the celebrities showing up, Charlize Theron, Anthony Mackie, Martin Scorsese, I was like, oh God, this is just nothing but a bunch of a filler and a bunch of stuff to get you to watch the film. Because you're not going to watch the film just because Seth Rogen. You're going to watch the film because of everything else that's in it.
It's like it's not really impressive outside of the celebrities and the actors.
No.
In it, so.
No, it's a story that I've seen plenty of times. What's that movie, with Adam Sandler, where he played like a studio exec? He's like a music executive, and he had Jennifer Hudson in there, and he was trying to do. It was the same exact thing.
Ooh, I don't even. I feel like I know what you're talking about, but I don't quite remember.
It's on Netflix, and he played like a caricature. You know how Adam Sandler likes to play these different characters and do his things with his voice, do these weird stuff with his voice. We'll
see what happens in the future, but that's the trailer park for this week. That's all we have for today. Thank you for listening, and if you would like to join the conversation, you can email us at onthegopod2023@gmail.com.
You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at On The Go with Jacob and James.
You can find James on Instagram at
James9794.
You can find me on Instagram at jacobdantone.audio. James is on the go.
Jacob's on the go.
We are all on the go.